Hey guys, welcome back. And today I'm going to be breaking down my grades for day 2 of the NFL draft. So if they got round 1, no picks, but rounds 2 and 3, we're going to be breaking down each pick, what I liked and disliked about each team's draft, and where I would rank them. So hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and leave a comment and let me know who you guys think are the big winners so far. Tomorrow I will have my complete draft grades, an accumulation of rounds 1 through 7, and I hope you guys are there. We're so close to 650 subscribers, so if we could get there by the end of the day, that would be incredible. But let's start things off with the Arizona Cardinals, who started things off by taking B.J. Ojulari. Really like this. They needed an edge setter. I think B.J. Ojulari does that. And then they get Garrett Williams with the 9th pick in the 3rd round. One of my favorite cornerback prospects in this draft. They picked him at number 9. Great value in the 3rd round. A guy who, had it not been for the ACL injury, I think would have been a first-round pick. And then Michael Wilson, my guy, one of my favorite receivers in this class, provides some size alongside Rondale Moore, Marquise Brown. And I think they absolutely crushed it tonight. And the Arizona Cardinals are going to get an A from me for what they've done. They also traded back a couple times and got some more assets. Arizona did some really good things tonight. And the Atlanta Falcons made 2 picks here, and they drafted Matthew Bergeron out of Syracuse and Zach Harrison out of Ohio State. So I'm assuming they want Matthew Bergeron to play guard, which is good. And then knowing that they run a 3-4, you can have Zach Harrison in that inside defensive end role. I don't think he really is an outside linebacker. This is a solid draft. No sexy picks. I would have liked for them to have gone wide receiver with one of these selections. Ultimately, they did not. And I'm a little surprised here. I'm going to probably give them a C on the day. Wasn't like in love with any of the moves they made, but I think it's a C. They got 2 needs. So moving on, we're going to kind of go through these as quickly as I can. We got the Baltimore Ravens. They made a very good move in getting Trenton Simpson at the 23rd pick in the 3rd round. Trenton Simpson just kind of fell down the board as a lot of these guys did. And I think he's a really good player. They got a really nice linebacking duo now. Odafe Owe, Patrick Queen, Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson. You add him here on a defense that's already strong. You get a really good player here. This is going to get a B for me. I like the player. I would have liked if they addressed corner or secondary a little bit more, but I think that's a really good draft for them. The Buffalo Bills here. The Bills are going to get a very easy A for me. Probably no, I'm giving them an S on the night. Osiris Torrance, you got him late in the 2nd round. Osiris Torrance is a monster. He's a bulldozer. You needed to protect Josh Allen, and you get one of the best pass protectors in this draft. And then Dorian Williams, a little undersized on the linebacker position, but playing with A.J. Klein and Matt Milano can be that Tremaine Edmonds placement. Dorian Williams was great at Tulane, and I think he's going to be great for the Bills. And the Bills get an S for me on the way they handled their draft. I think they crushed it. I think it's a really good draft for what Buffalo needed. And I wasn't in love with the Kincaid pick. These 2 picks might change the way their overall draft grades go. Next up, we've got the Carolina Panthers, who took Jonathan Mingo and DJ Johnson. They got him listed as an outside linebacker. I think he played a little bit more on the true edge at Oregon. I think that's where he's going to play here. Jonathan Mingo, I absolutely love this pick. He fits their offense, the type of receiver that Carolina was looking for. I think that's an A. The DJ Johnson pick, I think I would give a D. I didn't love the picks that they made. Or the players that were still on the board, they could have taken a little bit better value there. They got 2 picks tomorrow. We'll see if they're able to add any more pieces, but overall, I'm going to give the Carolina Panthers a C. As much as I like the Mingo selection, I think it could have been better. And again, we're only grading this off day 2. We're not including the day 1 picks in here. It's only the day 2 picks. The Chicago Bears really liked what they did. Gervon Dexter, Tyreek Stevenson, and Zach Pickens. Zach Pickens is more of the pass rusher from the interior. Gervon Dexter is a run stuffer. This interior defensive line for the Bears was horrible last year. You now have 2 really solid interior defensive linemen, and then Tyreek Stevenson. He could play on the outside. You can move Kyler Gordon to the slot. They really improved this defense. They pick pretty high tomorrow. They have the 1st pick in the 4th round tomorrow. We'll be interested to see where they go there. Lots of really good moves for them. I love the way this Bears draft has gone. Would have liked them to go edge. I thought maybe they overdrafted a couple of these players, but overall, I think the Bears get an A from me on the day. Moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals. And again, Interesting selections. They took Miles Murphy last night, who I didn't love, but they get DJ Turner and Jordan Battle here. I know Bengals fans might not like the Jordan Battle pick. Your safety room was not very good. Nick Scott and Daxton Hill, sure. Jordan Battle's an instant upgrade, and then DJ Turner, you can play in the slot. I really like that move for them. They went secondary, addressed some of their biggest needs. The Bengals get a B for me. Was I in love with it? No, I think they could have added some size. I think maybe a boundary corner because Chidobe Awuzie is always hurt, but I'm going to give the Bengals a B on the day. For this Cleveland Browns, very interesting. They took Cedric Tillman and Siaki Ika. Ika, I really like. They needed that run stuffer in the middle of their defense. They got exactly that. Him and Dalvin Tomlinson are going to be really good pickups. Cedric Tillman was a good pick. I like Cedric Tillman quite a bit. I think he's a really good receiver. Maybe they could have addressed a different position of need there, but overall, I think it's a good draft from them. They now have 4 really good weapons, and I'm going to give Cedric Tillman and Siaki Ika a B for the Browns. 2 picks, and I think they have made the most of what they've done. The Dallas Cowboys. All right, this one was interesting because I think the Luke Schoonmaker pick is like a D. If you look at who was on the board, Darnell Washington, you had some really interesting tight ends there. DeMarvion Overshown really liked the pick. So I think it kind of weighs out because I gave Schoonmaker a lower pick, not because I don't like tight end. I think tight end was in play. I think there were better players on the board for what this team needed. DeMarvion Overshown, great pick. I think it's going to weigh out. I'm going to give them I'm going to give them a B. I think the Cowboys have drafted pretty well so far. Denver. The Denver Broncos had 3 picks after having none yesterday, and this might be my second S because I think Marvin Mims is a awesome handler, could be out the door. Drew Sanders as another inside linebacker. He fits this defense incredibly well. Good pass rusher. I think they address a massive need there. And then you get Riley Moss. Good corner from Iowa. They just made some really interesting picks. They boosted their defense up, and they got another weapon for Russell Wilson. Sean Payton's got to be happy with the way this draft turned out. I would be if I'm a Broncos fan. I'm not going to give it an S, but I really like the players they picked, and I'm going to give the Denver Broncos an A for what they did. All right, now we're going to get to the Detroit Lions, man, and they had a number of picks. So I didn't love their draft last night with Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs. Today, they took Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Hendon Hooker, and Broderick Martin. Broderick Martin, I didn't love the pick, considering who was on the board still, but think he's a fine player, great speed from the interior. Okay, Sam Laporta, tight end. I know Lions fans are going to hate that they took tight end. That's a good pick. We saw what happened the last time they drafted an Iowa tight end. That worked out pretty well. Brian Branch and Hendon Hooker, though, love the picks. Hendon Hooker, I think, could be your long-term starter. As a Vols fan, he's a really good quarterback. It's going to take a bit of a learning curve before he can get acclimated to the NFL level. Brian Branch can play that slot nickel corner role for you excellently. The Brian Branch pick's an S, considering you picked him at pick 44. Sam Laporta is about a B. Hendon Hooker's an A. The Broderick Martin one's a D. Overall, if you look at the names the Lions have drafted, I don't hate it. I'm throwing the Lions in the A tier. I know a lot of people are going to think they overdrafted. I think they kind of got good value. You get a good quarterback in the 3rd round. You get a good tight end early in round 2, and you get the best safety in the class at pick 44. Great value for them. The Green Bay Packers, okay. Luke Musgrave is an S. I think that's a great pick. They needed a vertical threat at tight end, and they got that. Jaden Reed, little interesting. I thought they overdrafted for him, but they get speed in the wide receiver room, which is okay. And then they go Tucker Kraft and take 2 tight ends. Yeah, I wasn't liking this one. I really didn't like this move whatsoever for them because you just drafted a tight end. There are other players. You need a safety desperately. You need an outside linebacker. You need help in the interior still. Didn't love it. I thought they overdrafted for Jaden Reed, and I thought they didn't need to go Tucker Kraft. And this is going to be my first D. I just didn't like the Packers' approach very much. I'm going to give it a D. I really didn't love what they did, even though I think, yeah, you got more weapons. I think they could have gone a different route. So the Houston Texans got an S last night, and I can tell you they will not be getting an S from me tonight. They took Juice Scruggs, which I thought was an overdraft. They traded up for Juice Scruggs. Joe Tittman was still on the board. You probably should have gone him if you're going to go center. And then Nathaniel Dell, great route runner, so undersized. He just doesn't scare me. He's not a number 1 X receiver. You needed some more size in that receiver room, I think, and you did not get that. I think Tank Dell's a pure slot guy. Robert Woods a slot guy. I don't know, man. I'm giving this one a D as well. Thought they overdrafted both of them, and I think they could have done a lot better than what they did. My Indianapolis Colts here. This is my second S tier. Julius Brent, 6'4" at the cornerback position. You needed size, and you got lots of it. They also traded back multiple times. They have 2 4th-round picks, 4 5th-round picks, it looks like, and 2 7th-rounders. They can really make some noise here to improve this team. And then you get Josh Downs. Holy cow, Josh Downs was the steal of the draft. You get him in the 3rd round, 16th pick in the 3rd round, speed in that wide receiver room, someone that can take the top off of defenses. Josh Downs is an incredible route runner. He is electric. And now you've got a deep ball threat for Anthony Richardson. This is it. An A or an S for the Indianapolis Colts. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars fans, I am sorry. Brenton Strange and Tank Bigsby are an F. I'm sorry. You look at the tight ends that were on the board, you could have gone Zach Kuntz, you could have gone Tucker Kraft, you could have gone Darnell Washington. I'm still not sure all of the information on the Darnell Washington slide. Brenton Strange at the 30th pick in the 2nd round was an overdraft. Tank Bigsby, you still needed to go edge and corner, and you went with a running back. Sure, he's a number 2 back, but was that really a necessity? Absolutely not. I actually think they are the biggest loser of the draft tonight, and they get an F from me. For the Kansas City Chiefs, they took Wanya Morris and Rashee Rice. Really like this. Rashee Rice provides some size on the outside for him. Good route runner, good speed, good size, which is, I think, what they needed. And then they get Wanya Morris, who can play that right tackle role perfectly for them. This is a really, really good draft for the Chiefs, and this one is going to get an A for me. I think the Chiefs really made a good draft decisions. They've really had a good, solid draft. For the Los Angeles Chargers, Tuli Tuipulotu and Dion Henley. 2 of my favorite players in this draft. I think Tuli could play on that edge, probably at 266 pounds. He's a bit of a tweener. Don't really know where he's going to fit. But Dion Henley's an awesome inside linebacker that you can play alongside Eric Kendricks. Now, my only question is, what does this mean for Kenneth Murray? Overall, I think this was a good draft for the Chargers, and they're going to get an A for me. I think solid selections all around from the Chargers, and I really like the moves that they have made. Then we get the LA Rams, who took 3 guys, Steve Avila, Byron Young, and Kobe Turner. This is an S-tier draft for me. Rams fans, you got your Leonard Floyd replacement in Byron Young, the perfect outside linebacker. Absolutely love that. Steve Avila was guard 1A for me. Really like Steve Avila, 1A, 1B with Osiris Torrance. And then Kobe Turner, twitchy in the interior. I think he's got a lot of high upside. Pair him alongside Aaron Donald. I really love what the Rams did tonight, and they get an S for me. I think this is a fantastic pick for the Los Angeles Rams. For the Vegas Raiders, they took Michael Mayer, they took Byron Young, and they took Trey Tucker. I gave the Tyree Wilson pick a D last night. It's a C. Wasn't in love with it. Michael Mayer's an A pick. I think it's a great value for him. Byron Young gets a B. Trey Tucker, no. You need corner. Kaylee Ringo's sitting on the board. Darius Rush is sitting on the board. And you take Trey Tucker. Really didn't like that. The Trey Tucker pick kind of ruins the draft for me, and I'm going to give the Raiders a C tonight. Even with the Michael Mayer pick, I might move it up to a B. I think I'll move it up to a B, but just really wasn't in love with this. Another draft, I thought, okay, this is an interesting one because Cam Smith is one of my favorite players in this draft, and you just paired him with Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, and Javon Holland. Fantastic. Then you drafted Devon Achane with Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, tight end still on the board. You still had a couple guards on the board that I think would have worked here. No, I wasn't in love with the Devon Achane pick. That got a D. Cam Smith got an A. This kind of weighs out to a C for me. I thought it was pretty solid. Could have been better. It's a C for Miami. Minnesota only made 1 pick, and it was Mekhi Blackmon. It's a fine pick. I'm not going to overthink it. I think they got some value. It's a nickel slot corner. Probably, let's look here. He's 5'11", 178 pounds. He's probably going to play in the slot. I think I would have wanted a boundary guy a little bit more. The Vikings are going to get a C from me. Maybe a little high for Mr. Blackmon. The New England Patriots. Oof. The Keon White pick I was in love with. I thought that was one of my favorite picks of the day. And then Marte Mapu. Drafted him in the 3rd round. Such a Bill Belichick pick, man. And I haven't really done a lot of study on Marte Mapu, so I'm not going to speak on it. Keon White's a good pick. A lot of people weren't in love with the Marte Mapu pick. But for that reason, I'm going to give this one a C. I think Keon White's great, but I just don't know what to expect from Mapu. The New Orleans Saints are an interesting one. They took Isaiah Foskey and Keandre Miller. Okay, Keandre Miller's good. Played great in the national championship game. Isaiah Foskey, you drafted a defensive lineman last night. I don't hate that. This one is going to get a D, though, because I think they needed receiver. They could have gone tight end. They could have made a couple of other moves. And Keandre Miller just didn't really like that. I was not a big fan of this draft for them. Foskey's fine. I'm going to give this a D. For the New York Giants, this is an S draft. You come away with Jalen Hyatt and John Michael Schmidt. Jalen Hyatt is a deep ball receiver for Daniel Jones, which is exactly what they don't have. He's got good size. We don't really know what his route tree is because he didn't run a very advanced route tree at Tennessee, but good size, and he is speedy. And then John Michael Schmidt, best center in this draft. I would have considered taking him at 25. They get him here at 26. Great draft from the Giants, and they get an S from me. The New York Jets, I believe, only had one pick tonight, and it was Joe Tippmann, and that's an A pick. You get a center, which is exactly what you need. A mock draft guy was on the stream with me tonight. Joe Tippmann was a great pickup. They needed some help in their offensive line, especially that interior, and you got some protection for Aaron Rodgers. That gets an A from me. The Philadelphia Eagles, back-to-back nights, are getting an S from me. Sidney Brown is my favorite safety prospect in this class, and they just got him to replace DJ Gardner-Johnson. Insane value. Tyler Steen as well will be your long-term Lane Johnson replacement, I'm assuming. Back-to-back picks, and they dominated. The Eagles, the massive winners of this draft. This is an S-tier draft for me. And while we're on the topic of S-tier drafts, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. Coming away with Joey Porter, Keanu Benton, and Darnell Washington. 2 first-round guys in my eyes, and Darnell Washington and Joey Porter. Let's look. Did they give any reason why Darnell Washington slid? I don't really know. I just don't know why he fell so far. That's insane value. And I know that's not a big need, but he's a great blocker and a huge weapon for Kenny Pickett. And then Joey Porter, come on, third best cornerback in this class. You get him in the first pick in the second round. Keanu Benton fills a huge need for them. Insane draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they get an S from me. This is going to piss some people off because I absolutely was in love with what the Seahawks did last night. But you go Derek Hall and Zach Charbonnet. This is a D bordering an F. I like the Derek Hall pick. I gave that a B, but the Zach Charbonnet pick was a hard F. They had other needs. I thought they could have gone with John Michael Schmitz was on the board at the time. They could have gone interior offensive line. You could have gone defensive tackle. You could have taken your future quarterback. You take a number 2 running back, which I don't think you needed because Kenneth Walker was fantastic last year. You can make other moves. Running back is not that valuable of a position. I just didn't like it. This is a D for me for Seattle, which pains me because I thought they killed the draft last night. San Francisco takes Jair Brown, Jake Moody, and Cameron Latu. Jair Brown's a fantastic pick. Safety, great season at Penn State, super productive there. Cameron Latu I like as well. Your long-term tight end replacement for George Kittle. Jake Moody's the interesting one. Taking him this high, very interesting. I think he's a good kicker. The Niners are going to get a solid B for me on this one. I think they drafted pretty well. I know some people might not like the pick for Jake Moody. I think it's a fine pick. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you go Cody Mock and Yaya Diaby, and continue to beef up this defense a little bit. You now have your two pass rushers in Diaby and Cansey, who you drafted yesterday, and then Cody Mock, who can play your right guard. I think it was a solid draft from them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers get a B. I think we kind of got to talk about the Tennessee Titans. I love the Will Levis pick. That's an S pick. You trade up, you get Will Levis, your quarterback of the future in round 2. Awesome. Tyjae Spears, my guy Tyjae Spears, no shade to him. I just think they could have gone receiver, tight end, or offensive line here. And they really didn't do that. For me, the Titans are going to get a B because I think the Will Levis pick was that good. I think they could have upgraded a little bit more. And then Washington, very interesting from Washington. You took Ricky Stromberg and Jartavius Martin. I'm really unsure what Quad Martin's going to be like at the next level. I like the pick. Not sure where I put him. Ricky Stromberg, a good pickup as well. I'm going to give this one like a C. Nothing too crazy for me. I think these other drafts ahead of it were a little bit better. But guys, those are my grades for day 2 of the 2023 NFL draft. Tomorrow is day 3, the final day. And we're going to get to look to see who some of the best guys that don't get drafted are. Crazy names available. Keely Ringo, Adetomiwa Adebawore. I mean, I'm shocked Adetomiwa is still available. DeJuan Jones, we will see who's still available. Leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.